So we've been doing a lot of driver radio, team radio reactions. We even did a reaction to the highlights of the races, which you could find out on Patreon. We did the 2023 highlights for this year. McLaren. We're not even going to get into it. Shame on them, though. And we've also done a reaction to crashes and fails and just wipeouts and stuff. But today we're taking it back to like the beginning and getting more educated on Formula One. So hello, my favorite people. Today we'll be checking out Formula One versus NASCAR, which is like the American version of Formula One. And we're going to be seeing the differences in the cars, I hope, the races, like the functionality of everything, and everything like that. Look forward to more Formula One content, specifically more pit stop reactions. I have that coming out for you, and like just more of the intricacies of the races, because we've been learning a lot about the cars and their functionality and how they're much safer, or have become more safe over the years. But today, like I said, we're checking out NASCAR and comparing that to Formula One. So it's basically apples and oranges, America versus Europe. Let's see the difference. Subscribe if you're new here, like the video, help your girl get to 10K over on Instagram. And again, check out the Patreon for more content that I can't put on YouTube, like the official Formula One videos. Linked down below in the pinned comment and description. But here we go. Red Bull are definitely the kings of Formula One. I'm honestly surprised by that. I thought it would have been Ferrari, Aston Martin, or McLaren, but no, it's a drink company. Whatever.
Cars, check. Racing track, check.
No, that's the NASCAR race. As we all know, the Formula One track is like crazy hard. It's all these winds and dips, and even sometimes it's in cities.
Pit crew, check. Oh, this is insane. How confusing it is.
Hamilton.
Everything is almost the same in NASCAR.
Him and Fernando are so
F1,
funny.
Then what can be the difference between both the sports? Are you also confused about it? So don't worry, pals. That's why I'm here. Hey, race friends.
Ooh.
Welcome back to NASCAR Zone. Genuinely, both seem to be about the same thing.
I wonder if the cars
Fans watch
explode
as
as much as they do in Formula
gathers
One
around
in
a
NASCAR.
track while they wait for the checkered flag to fall. Both of these motorsports are known across the country and around the world. In the end, they are all pretty much
Bringing
the same.
so much money too.
They all wait for one driver to cross the finish line while the others fall behind.
Not bumper.
There are stars in both of these sports. There's a lot more to NASCAR and
Ooh,
Formula
Toyota.
One than what meets the eye, whether it's the rules, the technology, or the way the races are set up. So without any delay, let's talk about the most obvious ways NASCAR
The
and
cars.
Formula One are different. But before that, please hit the bell icon and subscribe to the channel.
Make sure you like the video.
To get every single update
Helps out the
about
channel a lot. And we just hit 20K.
So let's get started. When you look at the cars used in NASCAR and Formula One, you can see that they are different.
First of all, yeah, because like I said in the intro, Aston Martin, McLaren, Ferrari, what other big names are there? I don't know. There's Mercedes, all these luxury car brands or European car brands for Formula One, whereas NASCAR, you got Chevy, you probably got Ford, you got Toyota. I love Toyota actually, so I take that back. Toyota and Lexus girly. I love Lotus. I love, who else? Scion. I'm a Toyota girl. But you get my point. Like you have all these nice, rich car brands for Formula One, and then you got a cat sponsor for NASCAR.
The car of tomorrow, sedan body that NASCAR.
Was that tire Goodyear? That's another thing that I always say about Formula One. The tires are always like getting blown to shreds. So maybe they should take a Goodyear tire or a Michelin tire instead of Pirelli.
They are different. The car of tomorrow, sedan body that NASCAR chose, is meant to be a good representation of the cars that most people drive.
Yeah.
The driver is safe inside, and the wheels
Safe.
are right next to the frame. Aside from all the advertising, it wouldn't be too strange to see one of those cars
Michelin.
on an American highway. But you will never see anything on a regular road that looks like a Formula One race car.
Also, though, you do not see any NASCAR race cars on the road. They're always on a trailer or being like towed. They're never driven around in America.
Not with its wheels and open seats.
Just like you probably won't see a
That's
Formula
why
One
you
car
never
on the
have to
road.
put Max Verstappen next to a NASCAR car with his car. The look of a Chevy, Toyota, or Ford stock
Like I said.
chassis is changed to make a NASCAR car. In Formula
Oh, they
One, on
changed
other
the
hand,
chassis.
teams have to make their own cars. F1
A lot of
cars
research
are made to
with
be as
Formula
fast
One.
as possible in any environment. They have sharp noses that cut through the air to reduce resistance. Not to say
Okay. So basically what he's saying is the work is already done for the NASCAR people. Like they don't have to research or change any aerodynamics or anything like that. Like they literally just take, like that looks like a Chevy Impala SS or whatever they're called. Cobalt SS. So the car is already made from that company like Ford, Chevy, whatever. And they literally had a Toyota Camry racing, it seemed. Whereas the Formula One cars, they are adapted every single year and they're changed from that. Like, they're not street cars. They're their own manufactured car kind of thing.
Say that NASCAR cars are fast. Formula One cars go 233 miles per hour on average, while
No
NASCAR
wonder
cars go
they're
200 miles
dangerous.
per hour on average.
That's
This
dangerous
means
too.
that the strategies you need to use to drive in each type of race are quite different. The difference of
NASCAR. Oh,
33
pink.
miles per hour doesn't change how fast the
cute.
cars seem to be going when you're watching them live. Formula One and NASCAR are very different in terms of business and prestige. Formula One makes a lot of money. Each year,
Costs a lot of money.
it brings in $1.5 billion.
I knew it was hundreds of millions, but $1 billion? Well, yeah, that would make more sense because it's multiple teams. It's not just one team, and they're all worth hundreds of millions. So, of course, it does add up to be over $1 billion every year, though. That could solve world hunger. That could solve homelessness in some of these countries that these races are taking place in or from. Like, dang.
But with $3 billion in worldwide earnings, NASCAR is worth twice as much as Formula One.
Huh?
We can only dream of these insane amounts, don't you think? Leave your message in the comments.
NASCAR's worth $3 billion? It brings in $3 billion? Let me take my ass to a NASCAR race. I need to see what the hype is about, because if it's worth $3 billion, what I'm from Texas. There's a motor speedway not even an hour and a half away from where I live. I'm going.
Lewis Hamilton, the
vlog
highest paid
it for y'all,
driver in
too.
F1, makes about $40 million a year, while the best NASCAR drivers make less than $10 million.
That's not proportional. So one sport brings in double the amount but pays their drivers not even half of what the lesser sport brings. Sounds American. Sounds American.
Including salary and bonuses. In 2019,
Sponsorships.
there were 4 million people at Formula One races, but only 500,000 at NASCAR races. Formula One may have a few more people watching it live, but it is more of an international sport. There are races all over the world, with one in North America, but NASCAR races take place almost everywhere in the
America.
United States.
Yeah.
Even the United States thinks of it as a regional sport. What do you prefer to watch? 2F1 or a crazy NASCAR race?
I feel like to watch, aside from the tracks being different, they're kind of the same. And it would really just depend for me personally, like what city the races are taking place in, on if I would want to go or, watch or whatever. It's versus each other. I feel like they're the same.
Let me know in the comments.
Like,
And
what
finally,
difference would
from
your
a business
experience be
point of view,
watching or going?
NASCAR is an organization that is self-run and only concerned with the game. Formula One, on the other hand, is
Innovates
just a part of
real
the
life.
FIA, which is in charge of many other motorsports organizations as well. The rules of both these sports
I
are
keep saying
quite
Hamilton.
different. The tracks for NASCAR are all ovals, and cars can only turn left. Formula One tracks, on the other hand, can be any shape as long
And
as
that's
there
why
is
I really
one
like
loop
them.
that
That's
connects
cool.
everything. All kinds of loops and turns are added to the mix so that F1 cars can go in any direction. NASCAR does not allow telemetry. Once the driver is in their car on the track, they should pray and hope that their team has made it as good as it can be. They can change their ideas and plans, but they can't change the car itself.
That's another, I guess, big up on Formula One, because don't y'all do testing to make any last minute changes for your car or like prepare for the racing? Whereas they said in NASCAR, once you're done, you're done. You can't change anything.
Formula One, measuring tools and laptops are fine, and drivers are not
Pit
forbidden
stops.
from turning their cars during a race. In addition to things that aren't allowed, Formula One cars can't touch each other when they're racing. Not
That's a damn lie, because how many videos have we done, guys, where they bump into each other or we see a crash? Or even on the radios, Fernando or one of these other Spanish drivers is cussing everybody out because they don't know how to drive. They're always bumping each other.
only is it against the law, but it is also very dangerous because they are moving so fast. In NASCAR, hitting the other drivers is allowed and has become an important part of most teams' plans. Even though pit stops are part of both Formula One and NASCAR, to make sure the cars can run without stopping for the whole race, the reasons for them tend to be different. Since NASCAR races are longer, they have to stop at least once to change tires and fill up on gas.
NASCAR races are longer than Formula One races? Because if you've been here, then you know I'm always tripping about these poor drivers having to do 20, 30 laps. I was like, their legs can cramp. Someone in my comments told me they have to pee on themselves, which can also cause tissue breakdown. Like, as a nurse, like the wear and tear, forget the cars, the wear and tear on the body that these drivers have to go through. And he just said that the freaking NASCAR drivers drive longer. And again, they're not even paid half the salary of a Formula One driver. These poor NASCAR people.
F1 rules say that a car has to use at least 2 of the 3 different types, so it needs to make at least 1 pit stop.
It would be cool to see an
The
electric
formula
vehicle
for Formula
race.
1 doesn't take into
I
account
just thought of that.
refueling, though. Since the 2009 season, it has been illegal because it is dangerous and expensive. F1 cars, on the other hand, don't have to worry about the ban because F1 races are much shorter than other races. Formula One races
Better for
are
the
usually
driver, though.
only about 185 miles long, while NASCAR races have more than 300 laps around the track. So, a NASCAR race can last up to 4 hours. But
Have you ever taken a road trip? You stop at least every hour and a half to 2 hours. Imagine driving 4 hours straight. Not even just that, but you have to stop for gas. What if the car overheats? How the heck do you go 300 laps nonstop? It's not even possible. How big are their gas tanks? That's crazy. These poor drivers.
Formula One race can only last up to 2 hours. How much time matters is a big difference between the two when it comes to time-based rules. NASCAR is a lot like baseball in that there is no official clock, so the race goes on until all the laps are done.
Speaking of other sports, I used to run track, and I was always thinking like, okay, this section you're supposed to stride, this section you're supposed to sprint. Is it kind of the same thing with driving? Like you have to pace yourself sort of, and then those last few laps, that's when you really speed it up? Like what's the strategy here to win the races, aside from having the best car?
Formula One races, on the other hand, can be called after 2 hours, no matter how many laps have been done. Even bigger, the length of the season is different between the two groups.
It's
At
a
the
season.
very least, there are 36 races in a NASCAR season. If you count the Bud
thought it was just
Shootout,
one
an
race.
all-star race, that number goes up to 38. On the other hand,
All-star race.
only 19 races are held in F1 each year. One driver has been named the champion in both of these seasons. Another catch is that there is no one way to get the title. The point
Again, I
system
thought
is
there was
used
only
in
one
both
race.
Formula One and NASCAR.
Like one big day.
In NASCAR, the end-of-year playoffs are based on how many points a driver has. Through a series of races, the winner is chosen from the 16 drivers who made the shortlist. Formula One, on the other hand, only uses points to decide who the winner is. Once the winner has reached a score
And
where it
their
is
placement,
mathematically
right?
impossible for anyone else to catch up and pass them, the driver wins. They won't get their prize until the end of the season at the FIA prize giving ceremony.
I want to watch more celebrations too. We haven't done that yet. Like we heard it on the radios, like the team going back and forth congratulating each other, and then we saw one where the guy was like swerving on the track. But I want to see more happy moments too.
The strategies are also different for NASCAR and
Yes.
F1 because each type of race car is different in length, has different rules,
Different
and
in
looks
length.
different. Drivers have to come up with very different ways to win.
I didn't even like really peep that. You got a Supra, again you got Chevy Corvettes, you got Mustangs, you got whatever the heck this is, Chargers. Whereas in Formula One, literally all the cars are the exact same shape and not design, but you got the wheels that are offset, not on the frame, they're off the car. You got 2 in the front, 2 in the back. I don't know if they're staggered, stanced, or squared stance, but basically they're all the same style kind of thing.
And looks different? Drivers have to come up with very different ways to win. Formula
Hitting each
One
other.
is usually pretty easy to understand. The winner is the person whose car is the fastest. Because of this, teams are more than happy
Do
to
people
spend
get
money on
overlapped?
research, engineering, and development. This is also why F1 cars have the best aerodynamics possible. Because of this, Formula One is known for being a very technical and scientific sport.
That's what makes it
Still,
special
there are some
to
good
me.
moves that an F1 driver can use to even the odds.
Make a better
Undercutting is
car.
when a driver makes a pit stop at the right time to switch from a softer, slower tire to a harder, faster tire. This gives them a faster lap time and can help them get ahead of other drivers.
So there's not really much strategy when it comes to racing. It's more about, again, just the building of the car.
But for some techniques like that to work, the driver needs to be close to the front. If a driver doesn't do well in qualifying and starts the race at the back, it's unlikely that they will be able to get to the front and win.
Catch up.
In NASCAR, the underdog shine.
Safely, anyway.
Even the last car to start can be the first to finish. Since not every chassis is the same in terms of how aerodynamic it is, you can use strategy and physics to help you win, which is not easy to do in Formula One. Even though
'cause they're
NASCAR
all
and Formula One
aerodynamic.
is very different motorsports, fans of both can still enjoy the spirit of the game together.
I hope there's mirrors on these cars, because I just peeped this guy. How you can't even see out your windows because you have this big head contraption, and their helmet is kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it would just be hard to see in one of these cars.
Sports, fans of both can still enjoy the spirit of the game together, even if some fans love to battle between NASCAR and Formula One. People who watch both seasons can learn more about both the art and science of car racing. No matter which one you choose to watch, NASCAR or Formula One, you won't be disappointed you did. So, I think we are at the end of the video.
911 Porsche.
And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you
I did, because it really does put into perspective. Like, you can just appreciate both for being so different, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it's just car lovers enjoy the sport. Though, I think for practicality, I think the Formula One cars are better, but for simplicity, I would definitely say NASCAR, because it's literally just drive in a circle 300 times and come out first. Whereas Formula One, you got to worry about aerodynamics, changing your tire type. It's so much more intricate, Formula One. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you gave it a like, let me know what the content you want me to do down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!